Our unbeaten run in the league came to an end away at Leyton Orient on Boxing Day, which means that the Addicts currently sit 12th in League One. Michael Appleton's side are back in action today and looking to return very much needed to winning ways and round off 2023 with 3 very important points. Today's opponents are Bristol Rovers, who, buoyed by the appointment of former Addict Matt Taylor, have beaten Bolton Wanderers and Portsmouth this month. Saturday's win against table toppers Pompey came in the 4th minute of stoppage time and moved Rovers ahead of Charlton into 10th place in League One. With less than 45 minutes until kick-off, let's take a look at what we have coming up. We are going to be taking a look back at a classic New Year's Day clash against Arsenal from 2001. We'll also hear from Charlton Athletic Community Trust CEO Jason Morgan, MBE. Well, welcome along to the Valley this evening. Great to have your company for a little instalment of Friday night football. And because this is a game in the week, you can purchase your matchday streaming pass in the UK and across the world for just £10. So head to our website to do that. And I'm delighted to say, back in the studio, it's the return of Alan Curbishley and Steve Brown. And I'm even more pleased to say that Brownie is in between the two of us, because Curbs, you are glowing with your tan. How was your holiday? How was your Christmas?
Very good. Yeah, the weather was nice. I don't need a lot. I don't.
You go every other week.
No, I don't need a lot of sun.
Oh, no, it's because you go every other week.
I know. So anyway, it was really good.
A lovely shot of him on the golf course, didn't you? Christmas Day.
Golf.
Oh,
I whooped the son-in-law in the sun.
Yeah, I like the fact you beat the French fella. I quite like that.
Yeah, so.
And you jetted back this morning just to join us for today's game.
Yeah. No,
very kind of you, Curbs.
I was always coming back this morning, very early this morning. But yeah, I need to get out of the house actually. I've been stuck with everybody for nearly 2 weeks. I need a bit of space.
What about his opening line when he walked through the door? He's had 10 days in Mexico, Christmas away, and he went, "You won't believe the time I've had away with the grandkids. It weren't holiday at all."
This is your time to unwind and relax, Curbs, in the Charlton TV studio.
My kids took every advantage to dump their kids on me. Granddad, where are we going now? Granddad, what are we doing now? Granddad, okay.
Well, whereas Brownie, you've been kind of basically locked away here in the Charlton TV studio. I didn't get to spend my Boxing Day with you, but fill Curbs and I in on how that was.
I've done this game. I was at Brighton Spurs last night, Brentford Wolves the night before. I've got Palace Brentford tomorrow and Fulham Arsenal Sunday, then back here Monday. So yeah, busy Christmas period for me.
What day's today?
Yeah, well, Charlotte opened up with Friday night football, which was great because it put me back where we should be. Friday night, I would have lost track. Yeah, I have lost track, but it's nice to be busy, and I see a variety of games, which is lovely. Yeah, hoping to see us put 3 points on the board. That would be nice.
Yeah, absolutely. I said they're much needed 3 points as well, Curbs. I know you've missed the last couple of games, and just wondering, sort of, when you're in this situation as a manager at Christmas and the games are coming thick and fast, game number 3 in less than a week, it's kind of hard, isn't it, as a manager to corral? But this opportunity away at Bristol Rovers, it's important for the players.
The back of the last 2 performances, as I understand, have not been very good. And Michael would have come into it knowing that he would have to rotate and change it a little bit. But, you know, I keep talking about momentum, and, you know, if you'd have won against Burton, for instance, then they go again. You know, maybe 1 or 2 changes. They go again. Everyone wants to play. And, you know, I'm just looking at tonight's game. We've mentioned it so many times now that, you know, some of these games are pivotal. And I think that if we've got to win tonight, because well, I'm looking at this playoff situation, and really you're going to be 5 wins away. You know, you could be 5 wins away, which is a big, difficult to make up. So, yeah, I think 3 points has got to be on the cards tonight. If we don't, I think then the playoffs could be away from us.
Brownie, we've spoken many times on Charlton TV about, particularly in this division, sometimes there is an element of meeting the right team at the right time. And Bristol Rovers, given the fact that they beat the league leaders in the 94th minute, they're going to have a lot of momentum. But I wanted to talk to you about the job that Matt Taylor's done since coming in, because I was having a little look at their recent run of games, and they can switch shape. They played a 5-4-1 against Portsmouth, but can play a 4-2-1-2, which worked well against Bolton Wanderers. Although, who's the centre-back for Bolton that got sent off in that game? Santos? Yeah. Who is absolutely amazing. So I feel like if he's not in the team, you're quite lucky. But talk to us about how Bristol are going to set up tonight.
Well, we'll wait and see. But I'm getting they quite like the three.
Yeah.
The midfield three is the important part of the team. I think Finley, Ward, and Evans have got a nice little combination going on there, and I think they're comfortable with each other's games. And Ward and Evans sort of are the two that get forward. And Evans has scored a brilliant free kick actually at home against Portsmouth, and then scored an even better goal up at Bolton in the previous game, or game before, 2 games before that. One with his left, brilliant finish from about 16 yards out, and the free kick just outside the box with his right foot. So, you know, if they do play with Marquis down the centre, you know, and you think, oh, Marquis shouldn't be any trouble on his own, they get players breaking from midfield, the wing-backs get high up the pitch as well. So, look, they can go with a 4, but, you know, whatever formation they decide to go, that is the key area for me, is the midfield 3, that we've got to get on top of them.
Here's a question for you. Can you recall the last time that Charlton won the final game of a calendar year?
Are you going to show it?
I'm not going to show it, but just going to have a little bit of a chat about it. Even if it involved you, Brownie, we know where you'd be sat. Go on, any guesses?
So, was it 2001?
It was 2006.
Right.
Was the last time that we won the last game. So that would have been Alan Pardew would have been manager for that one, I think.
No.
But that's a long, long time, isn't it?
The only time I can remember it was we went to West Ham Boxing Day and got battered. Then we went to Man City and won 4.
Played in that one. This is a horrible common denominator from the clips I'm seeing. All the ones we win, I'm not in.
So we got
battered in.
West Ham. I think we got beat 4, and it was a terrible game. We got battered.
Yeah, we did. It was horrible.
Then we went to Man City, and I think that's when Parker come in. Kings went out because he had his bad knee.
Oh, you played like.
And then we beat Man City 4-1.
Yeah.
Then we beat Arsenal here 1-0, and the same team went out on the Saturday and equalised in the last minute against Dagenham and Redbridge in the FA Cup. So it might have been the year. Was it the year?
So it was 2006.
Yeah,
I want the year.
No, because I was still here with the Dagenham one. 2006 is still you, no?
You left in April of 2006, didn't you?
I left in the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's Alan Pardew. But the point being
that...
No,
2006.
6 was Curbs, I'm sure of it.
It was me.
We'll get digging in the archives. But the point being that
Just
8
CFC
draws...
stats to get it up. He's good to go.
8 draws and 8 losses. And I think the point is that we all know how important 3 points are tonight. But the emphasis being to just try and end the year as strongly as possible, Curbs.
Listen, talking about recent results, and they've been very tight, haven't they? We're not scoring a lot of goals, which is becoming a problem, because if you let one in, you feel as if you're not going to get back in it. But also, we're not letting in too many, are we? So, you know, the games, as I understand, have been quite tight, but we've got to come out the other end of it tonight. As I said, if we think we've got a chance in playoffs, we've got to get 3 points tonight.
Absolutely. Well, look, we have got the team news in. Unfortunately, due to some technical issues that we've been having, we're not able to hear from the manager himself about the starting 11, but I can confirm that there is one change, and we'll see the 11 on screen now. So there we go, the one change in midfield. Croy Anderson comes into the side this evening. And the Jamaican international is going to be replacing Scott Fraser, who misses out with a minor calf issue. In the Charlton midfield, an academic starlet, Patrick Casey, is also named in a senior league squad for the first time. Brownie, a big night for Croy Anderson coming into the midfield against a team that, as you just mentioned a few minutes ago, are very, very strong in that particular part of the pitch.
Yeah, big night actually. I'm surprised we've gone that way over Louis Watson, but that's what's been picked, so we've got to get on with that. Yeah, those 3 have got to get on top of the 3 I've just mentioned, Finley, Evans and Ward, and it'd be interesting because Evans and Ward like to break, and they don't just break down the centre, they'll drift off wide, and I mean Ward had a superb delivery for I think the goal up at Bolton, so they don't just sit in the centre, there's good rotations there and they work quite hard, so that's quite a key battle area actually for this game, and yeah, it's a big night for Croy. He's got a chance, you know, like I said, to come in and make a claim to get back in the side, stay in the side, which, you know, I think there's a few spots potentially, you know, that could open up.
You know, you've gone back games against Bristol. Didn't we blow it against Bristol Rovers?
Yeah,
remember?
We
was at Upton Park, 2 games to go, we're in the top 6, and we go to Bristol Rovers and got done, or we drew.
No,
and then we lost. No. And then we went to Upton Park, and then we ended up at home to Tranmere and lost 1-0. That's where we got in the playoffs. Blackburn got in the playoffs. Kenny Dalglish, they went up. We finished about 7th. Blew it against Bristol Rovers.
Can't remember last week.
Now you're getting me out.
Can't remember last week, Kenny. Can't remember last week. By the way,
now.
we've just had a text in from Stubley, and it was.
It was,
Alan
yeah.
Pardew,
Oh goodness! You know what? I was getting really worried then. My journalistic credibility was waning with every minute. But it's a big evening, and again, some young players really taking a lot of responsibility for the team, Curbs. And whilst you've been away, Daniel Canoe has started for Charlton, and we've almost watched sometimes the front three on a little bit of a rotation.
Yeah.
What do you make of that setup? It's the kind of everlasting question, really, of what's going to be the one to sort of get us back scoring those goals again.
Him and Alfie May can rotate, can't they? Alfie, we know, would prefer to play down the middle, but also Carnu's gone out onto the right-hand side. I mean, the two boys being out, Chucks and Miles, are a problem for us at the moment, and we'll just have to do with it. But it's a young side again, isn't it?
Very young.
You know, and we've been talking perhaps too young sometimes. You know, we're relying on the senior players really to galvanise it a bit and carry them through. But listen, it is what it is at the moment. I think Michael will be scratching his head with like, injuries and etc. But Carnu, I think, offers us a bit of pace and a bit of aggression up there, which is what we've been needing. And as I say, Alfie, when he's been playing on the right as number 10, I really didn't want to lose him as our main man. I didn't want to lose him, that he's playing out of position, if you like, and not really contributing. But he has been nicking a goal and being quite comfortable. So yeah, I'm interested to see how Carnu does tonight. Yeah,
absolutely. We've had some WhatsApp messages in already. Don't forget you can get in touch with us in the studio. I'll pose any of your questions to Curbs and Brownie. Dino in Spain says Curbs looks like he's auditioned for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
I told you I don't need much.
No.
I've got a thing. The boys know about it, Gilbert's, but no. I have to be in the sun.
Like I say, I'm glad there's some distance between us, because I've just got the grey look of someone that's spending far too much time in South East London. But Dino also makes the point as well. He says a big transfer window is needed, Brownie. Is that a sentiment that you echo? It's obviously going to be the talk, especially at this time of year.
Of course it is, yeah, and we should meet that head on. I think, you know, if you sort of sit here and analyse where we need to be, then my guess is there's going to be money made available to Michael. How that's spent is probably going to be, it's not going to be wasted, I wouldn't have thought. You know, January's a hard time, you know better than I do, but January's a hard time to do business, and what you don't want to do is get forced into doing business just because you're not in a great spot results-wise, or you don't feel the squad's up to scratch. I think it's got to be done, I've said this before, it's got to be done over several windows. This is a culmination, this football club's where it's at over a culmination of the last 3 years. And we haven't quite got the recruitment right. And what I will say is this is not having a dig at anybody. Recruitment is hard. The toughest part of the football club, I think.
In this month, players are overpriced, if you're going to pay any money for them. And obviously the contracts that the players are going to get. And you tend to, if a manager's going to let a player go, I'm not being disrespectful here, it's because they don't want them. Do you know what I mean? And it's different in the summer, because in the summer, you know, you're trying to rebuild it. Everyone's trying to get the best players for their team, and it takes a bit more time, and it's a domino effect a little bit. But this window is very tricky, and you know, listen, I think it's probably time for the owners to come out and to say this is our plan. You know, we're not going to be in the Premier League in 4 years, which was muted some time ago, and we're not going to be doing this. This is a long-term situation, as Brownie just said, and we're going to take our time on everything, and we would like to bring the fans along with us and understand where we're trying to go, and you know, that's the only way I think we can go.
Yeah. Modern day football doesn't lead to giving a lot of time. I was asked a question whenever the last game was here, Boxing Day, you know, what do you need to take, and it's either absolutely throw a bucket load of money at it, all right, or you've got to spend sensibly and take a little bit more time. I think we're in the realms of taking a little bit more time. So, you know, you'd like to see one or two what I'd call major signings, and maybe another couple, whether they're loans till the end of the season from good Premier League clubs, I don't know. We're probably going to see a couple of loans return, I would have thought. You know, again, we're second guessing, but what you're trying to do is you're trying to get to a point when we get to the end of the summer transfer window and next season kicks off, where you've got a core of a team, with at least 7 or 8 that you're going to trust and rely on. We should have been there by now with the amount of, like, Thomas Angard spent money. I don't know, you know, I know he didn't towards the end, but at the start he spent money, and we didn't get a core out of that money, you know, and that for me is what set us back, and it's probably why we are now. And we're having to keep resetting every summer and make too many changes. You really don't want, I don't recall you having to make 9 or 10 changes in the summer. It was always, you know, you might have done early on, but it was always 3 or 4. You know, and you didn't like doing business in January.
No,
I do remember
that. The players were expecting deals to be done in the summer.
Absolutely.
You know, who's coming in?
It's the worst time of year for someone when you're going home, because you're just waiting for Danny Mills. Okay, could be in trouble there. You know, but no worries, because you've got to come back in and fight for your spot. But it is a bit of a tough time for players when they go home and a couple of signings come in. You think, I might have gone down the peg. Well, not I might have. I've gone down the pecking order there.
No, but it's, as I say, I think in this window it's patching up sometimes, and you know, because you've got injuries and you don't really want to spend any money because you know that player's going to come back at some stage. So yeah, and also other clubs are all in the same position. They'll be trying to take someone just for 6 months or whatever it is, and you know, so I think Michael, as I say, should managers now, as Brown just said, perhaps don't have a long-term view on it, you know, because it's all about results. But I would have thought that with the new people coming into the club, not only being here since the summer or whatever, that they're coming out saying this is a long-term. You know, we're not going to be there in a year or 2 or 3 years' time. We'd like to be, and who knows, we could be. But at the moment, we're assessing everything, and we're just going to make sure that we're doing it right.
I think it's right to come out soon, because there is a lack of patience. And there's a lack of patience from the stands and the supporters at the moment, purely because of the last 3 or 4 years, which have become very, very frustrating. So there is a lack of patience, and I think Curbs is right. But I do think there is money to spend. I do think it's going to be, or it's going to try to be spent wisely, rather than just chaotically. If we saw Ipswich under, was it Cook, and they just bought in 12, 13, 14 players, that's not going to happen here. I think we're going to go back to 2 or 3 every window to try until we can actually find a squad that we can trust and rely on. Then the difficult bit is keeping them, you know, because you've got to show that you want them to stay. But yeah, we're looking forward to January, because I think there is going to be movement of some sorts. Hopefully it's movement that pleases everybody. But I'm with Curbs. You need to see a result tonight. If we don't, then you are kind of...
It's attractive as well.
You are,
if we're looking over our shoulders,
yeah, absolutely.
And if we're looking over our shoulders, another couple of results, whereas if you're trying to sign someone permanent, you know, they're hoping to be
on an upward trajectory.
Yeah.
Curbs, you explained there the difficulties as a manager in the January transfer window. I just wondered if you can recall perhaps some really good bits of business you did over January. Any players that spring to mind?
Costa.
Yeah.
When Costa came in.
Yeah, it's a good sign.
And obviously, one that hurt was Parker leaving. You know, couldn't do anything about it.
Because that's the other side of it, isn't it, as well? You've got the bit of trying to recruit, but also it can hurt teams.
Sometimes you're sitting there, you don't want the phone to ring.
Yeah.
And, you know, and other times you're on the phone all the time, trying to get players in. Yeah, as I say, George Costa was a loan, so it was a no-brainer, 6 months. He needed to come and play, and etc. And so that was a good one.
It's fascinating to hear, and I'm sure already the phones and the messages and the emails are flying away ahead of a very important month in January. We've got an important evening coming up, and I'm delighted to say the team here at Charlton TV have worked really, really hard to be able to get the interview with Michael Appleton for you to watch ahead of kick-off.
Michael, we're here at the Memorial Stadium in Bristol for the third of our 4 festive fixtures. You've made 2 changes, one to the starting 11 and one to the subs bench. Do you want to talk us through those? Yeah,
Scotty's got a bit of an issue with his calf. And wasn't able to sort of recover in the short space of time between the 2 games. Potentially might be available for New Year's Day, but as it stands, he couldn't recover. So it's an opportunity for Karoy to come into the team, He's been around it the last few weeks or so. Obviously not had much of a appearance since I've come through the door, but listen, I've seen improvements over the last sort of 3 or 4 weeks. That's why he's got his opportunity. Hopefully he'll take it tonight. And then obviously we've got young Pat on the bench as well, which is quite exciting for him and for us, because we do know that if we need a goal at some point, he's more than capable of doing that.
We've got 2 players there, Croy, particularly who came in and around the first team for a while, and as you say, hasn't quite figured recently. Maybe something to prove?
Absolutely, 100%. You know, and that's the message to him. Like, come on, show me what you're capable of. Show me what you got yourself into the group for the first time early on in the season. And you know, once you get that opportunity, you've got to take them.
Obviously, it's been disappointing, slightly frustrating. 2 games into the festive period, you're going to be looking for a reaction and something that you can send the another packed out away end home happy. Yeah,
I hope so. You know, the reality is there's nothing you can do in, you know, no matter what level of football you're playing at, you can't guarantee a result, but you should be able to guarantee a performance, and a performance with energy, enthusiasm, running power. And listen, I think we'll get that tonight. Like I say, I think we'll see a different approach to the game, and you know, whether that's good enough to win or not, hopefully it will be, because we've got a bit of quality there. Let's hope that's the case.
We're up against another side with a new manager, although he's been here for a few games, so you've had time to prepare for what Matt Taylor's side can bring in?
Yeah, do you know what? They're slightly more direct than they were, to be fair, under Joey. I think that's fair to say. They get the ball forward quicker. They're very much a crossing side. You know, they've got quality in them wide areas. Their wing backs are not natural defenders. They're more attack-minded players. So you can see that, you know, they get decent delivery and quality if they're there. We have to first of all stop that, and then obviously make sure that we pick up and mark in the box.
Well, thanks for joining us, Michael. Good luck tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great to hear from manager Michael Appleton there. Bristol Rovers haven't been beaten at home since August. Brownie, it's a bit of a foreboding prospect, really, isn't it? But we're hearing from Michael there in terms of the way that he wants to set up. Losing a player with the experience of Scott Fraser isn't ideal. Croy Anderson gets his opportunity to step up. What do you think is going to be the key in the kind of opening 10 minutes? Because both the teams are coming in from very different Boxing Day experiences.
Yeah, I mean, their home form alone should put them in a very confident spot at the moment. I just want to, from our perspective, see a bit of bit of character. You know, very flat against Burton here. Couldn't understand that one. Out of the 2, that's the one I can't understand as much. You know, we've got a good record here at the Valley, and you know, Burton had 1 point in 7 games, 1 goal. So that's the one I kind of more disappointed in. The Leighton Orient one's a London derby, you know, and we had 3 or 4 opportunities, but ultimately didn't look threatening enough on the day, and it went a bit flat. But you need a reaction, don't you? I think if you're travelling down there today and you're in your cars, and I think we've sold out again, haven't we?
Once again.
Yeah.
I mean, what credit to supporters at this time of year on a Friday night. I can't imagine the trains are any good, so driving there to go and support them.
You want to see a little bit of a reaction. Yeah. You know, I don't think anybody ever minds losing when you see a team giving its all. I think the issues start to become, or you know, supporters get a bit more animated when they feel there's a lack of effort. So if I was in a Charlton shirt today, I'd be absolutely maximising my effort levels. But yeah, you know, out of the last 3 games, this is the toughest one, and I wouldn't put it past us winning it. Yeah. That's how we are.
I think Michael mentioned running power in that interview. You know, energy and running power. So perhaps, you know, what Brandon's just saying, that there wasn't enough of that in the last 2 games. Certainly the Burton game.
Well, it is a busy fixture schedule, and there is plenty of action going on across the country in League One this evening. Wigan Athletic and Carlisle United kicked off at 7 p.m, and the latest score is that the hosts are 1-0 up. Coming off of a win on Boxing Day, Burton Albion host Shrewsbury Town, while Exeter City, who recorded a long-awaited win in midweek, host a Portsmouth side that were beaten by today's opponents, Bristol Rovers, last time out. Elsewhere, a couple of potential playoff clashes as our New Year's Day opponents, Oxford United, host Derby County, while second place Peterborough host a Barnsley team 2 points outside of the playoffs with 2 games in hand. Brownie, Oxford against Derby, that should be an interesting one.
Yeah, that's the biggie. And to be honest here, we've waxed lyrical about Derby, and you know, we know they've got a big budget, but we like the manager. and they don't concede goals, you know, and they really struggled at the start of this season. You're thinking, cool, what's happened to Derby? But slowly but surely they've clawed their way back into the top 6. Like I said, 18 goals conceded from 22 games puts them, for me, as the biggest threat to the top 2 at the moment. Yeah, tough one for Oxford, because the manager's not they've had the change of manager. You know, theirs has gone to Bristol City. And the new manager's come in. It's not quite gone to plan. I think he came out and said, totally and utterly ruined my whole Christmas period. Their manager, he's like won 1 in 5 or something. But they had a good win the other day. But that's a tough one for them tonight. Derby are notoriously stingy in terms of defending.
Curbs with Portsmouth, although they lost against Bristol Rovers, still 4 points clear at the top. They must be really, really pleased with the season that they're having and the position they're in.
And they've got the fan base, haven't they? I think once it gets going, we talk a lot about momentum, but some of these clubs, you know, once they get going, like the Derbies of this world, getting 20-odd thousand, 30,000, and Portsmouth, you know, and what we just said about our fans going, you know, selling out at Orient, you can understand that. But after getting beat at Orient, selling out again at Bristol Rovers, you know, we just need to give them something.
Yeah, we do. Well, look, let's take a moment away from this evening's game to reflect on an amazing start to the season for our women's team. Karen Hills' side sits second in the table, level on points with first place Birmingham City, and they host Women's Super League side Brighton and Hove Albion in the Continental Cup on Wednesday, January the 24th. At the Oakwood, with under-18s able to watch the game for just £1. And Brownie, it's a big game against the WSL side, but given the league form that they're in, Karen Hills and her team can go into that, you know, with plenty of confidence.
Yeah, I don't think they'll fear anybody at the moment. It's a home tie after all, and I think in terms of where Brighton are at in the league above, I think it's going to be a competitive game. It's not like you're playing one of the top big guns in that league. You're not. It's they're slightly lower down the league. They haven't got the budgets for the others, and they certainly haven't got the quality in the squad of the others. So this could be a good opportunity for us to, you know, it's a big banana skin for Brighton for sure.
Show our Women's Super League credentials as well, Curbs, because there's only a couple of points between first and fifth, so plenty for the team to be playing for going into the second half of the season.
Yeah. No, as I say, I've got a keen interest in the women's football because I have a vote. You know, for the league managers on the manager of the month and the player of the month and the goal of the month, etc. So when Karen got the award the other week, I did have to say this. You know, my vote is like on the level. You know, so I was pleased for her.
Oh, it's brilliant. Well, look, you can play your part in Charlton's women's promotion push by getting yourself a half-season ticket. You can do that by heading to booking.cafc.co.uk to get yours now. It has been another incredibly busy year for our community trust, and earlier on today, Charlton TV caught up with CEO Jason Morgan.
Jason, as we come to the end of the year, can you talk us through some of the excellent work that the community trust has done?
Well, John, I'm just proud that it's ongoing. I mean, the work that the staff deliver is exceptional, and it's really difficult for me to pick any standout projects and moments because it's just, you know, from where I sit, fantastic ongoing work. But I mean, we announced it. We had our summary of the year with our staff just before Christmas, and to, you know, £6.7 million committee spend is what you want to hear as a charity. You know, I've always said it. You know, charities don't talk about turnover; they talk about committee spend. You know, and the projects and programs, and you know, any stage during the year, it can be up to 80 programs, depending on the time of year. Those 7 strands are still there and have been for, I don't know, a better part of a decade. But to have a committee spend of 6.7 million just shows the hard work and the dedication of the staff, and, you know, continuing what we've always done.
And you mentioned the numbers there. I mean, the numbers in general have been amazing, and you obviously had the impact report through this year as well, which again was very impressive. But you're right to just talk us through what the impact report actually means and why it is so important.
Yeah, the impact, it gives us a calculation. It gives our stakeholders and partners and funders, you know, a target or a calculation that we work out, which is always verified by University of Greenwich, you know, partners of ours. So it was actually a year ago. So we are working on the one at the moment, but that's the highest it's ever been. 49 million, just under 50 million social value. So it's an important calculation. It's something that we're immensely proud of. It's something we can shout about, but more importantly, it's something that we can give back to our funders, partners, councils, and a proper calculation. Rather than looking at figures. And I suppose we're always guilty of sort of like shouting out big high figures. How many participants or how many members of staff. But this is a calculation that's recognised through football, something the EFL have done. They've just done their annual calculation looking at the 72 community programmes and clubs, the work that the clubs do in their community, which is, I think it's just under 800 million. So our 50 million is in there. So, yeah, immensely proud.
And in terms of 2024, what will your aims be for next year?
Just to continue. I mean, the massive work around EDI. Immensely proud of what Michael and now the club have embraced and how we're moving forward with that. We've got some new projects that have started. Our hospital programme, a discharge programme, getting people, out of hospital beds back home, and whether that's, just making the house ready or just doing some shopping because they haven't got that home help there. And I think the big thing for me, Tom, is to highlight some of the stuff that doesn't necessarily always get shouted about. We know about the upbeats, and this year was the highest figure we ever raised, 50 million. And then we did Belfast, which I was honoured to go on, which was fun. And I'm down to do it again next year. But I think it's to highlight some of the other work. Obviously, as you know, Ollie's joined us, and with the link with the club, I think we can highlight some of our projects and programs that don't always get the limelight. Some of the programs, where we take clients away on residential courses, and the real work around mentoring, and our crime reduction program. That's real community engagement. That's real challenging work. And I know the upbeats and the football courses and those kind of projects and programs always tend to get showcased and the players gravitate to them. But I think if you look at what we did with the youth engagement vehicle, the week of the EFL, week of action, and Chucks came out on the bus, but to go to a challenging area where there's high levels of crime and antisocial behaviour, and I actually witnessed it and watched a police officer point out a couple of key individuals in and around the bus that we were engaging with, and it's not the best of areas. Sometimes it doesn't come across the greatest on camera, but it's the kind of work that unfortunately we've got to continue to do. So I suppose next year, Tom, long may that all continue. I think the new ownership have fully embraced what we do as a community trust and want to support that. And I know that will continue. So yeah, onwards and upwards, hopefully.
Fantastic stuff. And just finally, before we finish, any message to Curbs and Brownie in the Charlton TV studio?
No, I think they'll have plenty to say back to me. I thought Curbs was away in Mexico, so I've been keeping an eye on his house, so that's all safe and secure. Yeah, Brownie I saw had a new Christmas jumper, which was needed because his attire wasn't getting too great. Having said that, at the Cat Awards, he was very smart. I know you showed a picture of that, so it was great that he came along, and I think, see firsthand, because the guys always say nice things, not so much about me, but nice things about the community trust. And I think Brownie coming out and seeing the Cat Awards at the House of Lords was important, because I think it got underneath the skin of some of the work that we do. But no, unfortunately, I'm not listening in tonight. I'm out with the family, so I'll leave them to abuse, and no doubt text messages and messages will come in from others. But no, just Merry Christmas. No, Happy New Year to everybody.
Right, fellas, please hold yourselves just for a minute. Just for a minute. Your right to reply will be coming, Brownie. I've got to tell people, though, just quickly, because incredible to hear from Jason there. The depth of the work that the Community Trust does is incredible. And on Saturday, it was the club's Christmas Spirit Day. And we're really encouraging all Charlton supporters to donate to the Charlton Athletic Community Trust to support the great work they do. You can do that by visiting catc.gives/donate to donate now. gents, your right to reply.
So you said how great everybody is, aren't you, in the community trust? We don't have to go over that again. All right. Well, let's just talk about. It said 10 to 10 on the clock, didn't it? So make that interview 11 o'clock and give Jason another hour to get ready, because his hair was a disgrace. He's picked up the wrong glasses.
Was it 10 to 10 at night or 10
No,
to 10
he's
in the morning?
He's been woken up by Tom. He's forgotten he's doing the interview. He's woke him up. He's rushed into that
It
room.
looked like Tom had nicked his AirPod up.
He's got glasses on like that, hasn't he? Right, his hair was over here.
I know where he is tonight
he's had
as
to
well.
pump his stool up, hasn't he, to get above the desk.
I know where he is tonight.
I was going to say, I'm
Come on.
disappointed, Jason. Why are you missing out on Charlton TV? Where is he, Curbs?
Is it an Indian in Faden Boys?
Right, because you guys cast school together every now and then,
Yeah,
right?
but yeah, but he's got friendly in there lately.
Has he?
Yeah, I've been hearing stories that, you know, he's been, the governor's been looking after him and etc. etc. And he's the only MBE in the village.
The only MBE in the village. Oh, well, there we go. It's great to hear from Jason, always. I'm sure he'll have a right to reply at our next game as well. But let's move on now, because obviously the boys are travelling to Bristol Rovers this evening, but we're back here at the Valley on New Year's Day for the visit of Oxford United. And it had us thinking in the Charlton TV studios, reminiscing back on New Year's Day of past. And we're going to take a look back at a game now. New Year's Day 2001. Guys, can you remember who were the visitors in town that day?
Oh,
It's Arsenal. It's
Arsenal.
Yeah, I remember it well.
You remember it well.
Right.
Shall we take a little...
Let's see, shall we?
Let's see if you can spot Brownie as we take a look back when Arsenal were in town. And Charlton took an early lead, Curbs. Can you remember the goal? Can you remember much from this day?
Let's have a look.
He doesn't remember anything, Charlotte. No chance. Good header.
Really good header. Is this bringing back any fond memories for you, Curbs?
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah. And Brownie, you certainly remember the game well, because we're going to play Spot the Brownie in a minute. But
Yeah.
this is a good.
If I had been
Charlton
playing, you
team.
can tell I'm not playing. If I had been playing when Kish received it there, you'd have seen me in the background overlapping like I used to do.
It's just an incredible ball in, isn't it? And brilliant header. And JJ, that was his 13th of the season, and it was only in January. He was just on absolute fire at that point in the season.
Yeah, listen, we talk about this, don't we?
Signing, wasn't he?
Yeah, and we talk because he was
Bartlett,
versatile as well. He was versatile, and he was a smashing lad. Really nice fellow in the dressing room. But yeah, attacking it at the far post, bit of a sliced cross from Nookie Bear, and good header from JJ.
And there was late drama in this one when you got Todd there, haven't you? He came close, making it 2, and then a couple of chances for Sean Bartlett as well. Look at that, a packed out Valley.
Yeah.
They had Arsenal on toast.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, obviously they're only showing our best highlights. I mean, that's what Klaus did, right or left, bang. Should have scored really there, Bart. Should have gone the other way.
I'll come across.
Yeah.
He was a good Christmas signing, I think, Barnes. I think he came in at Christmas. He scored.
There I am, Curbs. Just there, look.
There you are.
Yeah, just there to the left. Yeah.
I'm asking Murph to get out of the way because I can't see anything. No, I was upstairs. Yeah, head it across.
It's got to come across.
Head it across.
Oh, come on, Barnes, you're better than that.
So there's Kish, who can play right back as well.
We had a good time with him in the Charlton TV studio, didn't we,
Yeah,
Brownie?
yeah.
Oh, no,
One of our highlights.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Another good chance.
Oh!
You're living it in the studio as if you were in that dugout, even now, Curbs. An amazing chance. Should have put the game to bed.
Merv, get him off. Get him off.
He looks tired, Merv. He's overstretching. Get him off. Yeah, no, listen, I mean, we surprised a few sides at the Valley actually over the years. I think Chelsea was another 1-4-2, I think, on a Boxing Day.
Does he slip it?
He just knocks it away from himself.
It's his other foot, isn't it?
Another day, he's got a couple of goals
Oh,
against
no.
Arsenal. Yeah.
Put the sounds down a bit.
Now, I think this might be the moment. There's going to be a save coming up, but we will see the late drama when Mark Fish gave away a penalty.
Yeah,
That's it. Now, Thierry Henry wasn't playing, and Robert Perez was the designated penalty taker for that game. He'd been substituted.
Oh, look at it as well.
And we'll see how.
What stands
Dean
out in the
Curry gets
background? Look at the pitch, funny enough. You know, it's proper carved up. No, this one here. I mean, that's as brutal as they come. Curbs. That's not. That doesn't even need to go to VAR.
I was going to say, what's VAR saying?
That's a dead cert pen.
But you can see here amongst Arsenal, you know, who's going to take the penalty, all sort of looking amongst one another.
All looking the other way.
And it's Dean Kiley.
All looking the other way.
Big moment.
To be honest with you, he come up with a couple. This is not the only penalty save he made against Arsenal, I don't think. I think he made a couple.
The Arsenal end as well, wasn't it?
Yes.
What an important penalty and a brilliant, brilliant save. I think Arsene Wenger praised Kiley's save after the game. It's not often he gave much praise, was it, Curbs?
No. He never come in for a drink either after the game.
Brownie, was Dean that good with penalties in training as well?
It's not so much he was that good in... Listen, if you look at his highlight reel from his best saves at Charlton, it is unbelievable. There's a couple of headers in there from point-blank range. I don't know how he reacts to get his hand onto it and away. And I've always said this about Dean. He was unlucky in terms of being number 2 to Shea Given, so he didn't get the international recognition that he deserved. He was an unbelievable keeper for us, and it all stems from work rate on the training ground. The guy never stopped, you know. And it's fair to say that Dean enjoyed his time away from the training ground as well. He loves the little jaunt out to the races, but once he got into the training ground, there weren't many worked harder than he did. He really did have an incredible work ethic, and that is why he made the saves he made, and he was the player he was.
To be fair, we used to have to stop training sessions.
Yeah, you did.
Because he was going on a bit too long. And
he got a bit fierce,
didn't he? A bit lively, yeah.
Well, that's a happy New Year's Day memory, and fingers crossed we'll be doing the same here.
I thought it was another game.
Oh no, that was the one. That was the one. It felt like a pretty special game to look back on, and we do have the tickets on sale for that game against Oxford, and also our half-season tickets are on sale as well, and this really guarantees you a seat at the final 11 home matches of 2023-24. Because the adult prices start from just £160, it offers brilliant value for money compared with the regular match day prices. So if you invest, you will save over £100 across the second half of the campaign. I've said it a couple of times now, we kick off